Hello. Hope you're all okay. I haven't come to do anything specific today other than have a little bit of an experimenting kind of session after the previous video I did where we did some embossing without an embossing machine or a Sizzix, which is what I have. So I just thought I was going to have a little go at a few kind of alternatives, you know, because we can, why not? So these are my embossing folders. I've got it, obviously I've got, they vary from being small patterns and larger patterns. So I want to have a go at, let's have a go at a small pattern and see what we can do. And I've had a couple of other kind of thoughts of things that I would like to do. So the first thing, I've just got some plain old tea-dyed paper. So I'm going to do this one first. I'm just going to stand up and I'm going to see how this small pattern works, whether it works well or not. Right, now, I'm just going to have another little go at that. I mean, you do have to give it some welly, I'm not going to lie. That has picked it up fairly beautifully, I think, considering that's a really small pattern. Little tiny pieces. So let's find, I'm not sure, I don't want to do one that I haven't done on film before. So this one is clocks. Let's have a go at the brayer with this. I'm going to put it fairly close to the bottom. I'm just going to do this little bit around here. Let's have a go at that. Ah, perfect. I think you can see. So that works quite nicely, and obviously when you've inked it, you'll see them a lot more clearly, like you do with. I'm not so sure how this would work if you wanted to do a thicker cardstock, for example. And we obviously know that if you're running it through an embossing machine, you're going to be able to do cardstock too. Maybe we'll have a go at the cardstock in a minute. So I'm just kind of seeing what different patterns will actually come out like. It's a little less clear in the middle, but I actually really like that. And I didn't go over it a huge amount of times. So they're quite nice, I think. So that's the brayer. Okay, got out a rolling pin. So I thought we'd give it a go with a rolling pin, because I do think that's where the idea came from in the first place with Gibbard. I'm going to do the same folders, I think. That's probably a sensible idea. So let's see what this would be like. To be honest, I did think about this last night. What I was going to do was pop some paper into the embossing folders and then stick them under some really heavy books to see how that would come out, but I actually forgot. So let's rolling pin this. Okay, I put about the same amount of energy into that as I did with the brayer, and that's come out just as beautifully. So that's pretty good. Let's just quickly try the clocks then, see if that's the same. I'm just going to do this little corner. Yep, I probably didn't press quite so hard on that one. And let's do this one last of all. Oh, that's actually much better. That's come out much, much clearer than the brayer did. So that's those. I'm just going to grab something. I won't be a minute. I've just grabbed my pencils because I had a thought. When I taught art, we had a whole module on frottage. You'll all remember this from when you were younger, probably, and at school. I'm just going to have a little try. I know it's not going to actually emboss, but I just want to have a try and see what it looks like if we use these as a rubbing or for a rubbing. I'm using a soft pencil, but obviously you don't have to use a soft pencil. I was actually looking for my pastels, but they're in a cupboard far, far away. That's quite cool. It's obviously not something that's relevant to what we're doing now, but I just suddenly, the urge struck me. And I'm sure some of these patterns are better than others. You obviously have to use the raised edge. Yeah, some of these patterns are going to work more than others. And I'm not holding that down particularly well, so we've got a bit of double vision there. But that's really cool. I'm really liking that. So that's another kind of thought of things you can do with your embossing folders if you don't have an embossing machine. You know, they're useful articles. I have one more method that I want to try. So I'm going to go back to my, and I have to be honest with you, other than the brayer the other day, I genuinely have not, right. So got my bone folder. I'm not gonna, I don't think I'm going to use that section. I'm just going to try and use my bone folder. This is like worst case scenario, maybe, if you don't have... No, it's not really working. Let's have a little go at just rubbing through the... This is a lot more difficult. Don't recommend a bone folder. Having said that, it actually it is working. It's working. So you're not going to get much of a pattern. Let me just try. I mean, to be honest, you could probably put it under your cushion on your chair, sit on it for a couple of hours. You know, you probably get something. I think the books is probably going to work. You're getting something, but it's really, really faint. So bone folder's probably not a good idea for that. And then I was thinking, okay, so what else do we use the Sizzix for? And of course, it's for die cuts. So I'm going to have a little go at some die cutting. My favouriteest shop, my favouriteest vintage shop in the whole world, did a house clearance very recently. And the house that they cleared, the amazing woman who they'd cleared her house, she was obviously a crafter. And they you know, they know what I do down at the wonderful Clara Bow. Hi, Bev. So she contacted me and said, you've got to come and have a look. So this was my selection of die cuts, and I actually picked up this folder absolutely chock-a-block full of things to play with. So and I did get lots of other things too, so it was amazing. I'm gonna try, and excuse my mat, that's really disgusting, sorry, that's so dirty. I'm gonna have a little go at die cut. Now I'm gonna start off with something easy. I think these are the kind of shapes that, you know, they're easy to pick up, and we probably all do use them quite often. So if you've never used a die, they have a flat side and they have a side with a it's the cutting blade actually on them. I'm not an expert, not an expert at all, as you'll probably see, because this is probably going to go horribly wrong. So what I'm going to do, and in a way, if this works, it's going to be pretty cool, because I'm just trying to find some tape. It will be pretty cool because, you can put it wherever you like. So I've just got a bit of, I had to pick up a new roll because I don't know where my started roll has gone. Picking up a bit of surgical tape. And I quite often use tape if I'm using the machine. So I'm not going to stick this straight on. I'm going to kind of fluff this up a bit on my clothes, just to de-stick it slightly. Technical term there. So I'm gonna have a go. You can actually see the fluff. I'm actually wearing black jeans today. You can probably tell by the fluff on the tape. I'm sorry. You know, this is not a professional tutorial. This is just I'm gonna have a little experiment and see. So I can feel obviously the dye through there. So I can feel through here, and I've got my dirty old brayer, and I'm actually just going to go over this with the brayer and see what happens, because I thought, well, you know, it worked with the embossing. Let's see if it works. This is a little bit tricky because it is moving a little bit. It's brilliant for embossing using a die cut thingy. Is that going through the paper? No, it's not actually going through the paper. That's disappointing. I was really hoping this was going to work. Because some of these kind of standard. Now what I was thinking is, it's doing pretty much what it does, kind of, it's indenting the brayer, but that's fine. Okay, so that hasn't gone terribly well, but we do have, I'm not sure if it's going to move, we do have a really nice indentation on this page now from the brayer. So number 2, let's try it with the rolling pin. I'm getting some really lovely patterns on my rolling pin. So next time my daughter makes something with the rolling pin, it's going to have a lovely picture on it, or patterns. Oh, it's a success with this. I'm not sure how successful. We're definitely getting a cut. So I think it's probably a case of going in a certain direction, maybe spinning it round, trying it that way, and then have to do the corners. I wouldn't recommend you use a Tracie rolling pin for this. Okay. Yeah, that has worked. It's just stuck to the tape. So if I probably should have found some washi, because this is still a little bit too sticky. There you go. That works. Just about. Definitely too sticky, my tape. Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. There you go. So, rolling pin will cut out your die. Brayer not so much. Let's have a little, let me try another shape. Now. Something that we kind of want to use quite often. Circles. Okay, these are, if you're in the UK, these particular ones are from The Works. let's have a little go. I'm just going to see if I can. Right, okay, got a bit of washi now. This might be a little bit easier than the surgical tape, although this is a pretty good washi, so it's probably still quite sticky. Let's have a go. I mean, there's probably a million videos out there of people who have done this already. I don't know. I just thought I wanted to try. It's a bit noisy, and it's pretty good if you want to have a good workout. Okay. Yep. Oh, not quite. Oh, pants. I took that off a little bit early. But it's going to work, isn't it? You just need to have a little bit more patience than I did. Took that off a little bit early. Let's just try. It probably won't work, but let's try the... Let's try the bone folder. This is actually quite a new one. I'm going to get an old one out, just bear with me. Right. These are rather old, so just want to see where I'm going. Let's try it. I think my bone folder is a little bit damaged anyway, and it's kind of tearing up the paper slightly. Oops. This is another old one, but let's try, that's a bit of a better edge. Let's just try that. Ooh, no, that's ripping. No. So I think if you don't have a Sizzix or an embossing machine, I think the rolling pin is the best way to go for using the dies. Let's just see if I can try another one more, and we'll see how that goes. What shape? I don't think it's worth trying anything too fancy. I think it's going to be basic shapes only. I'm going to have a little... So it's very difficult to know whether maybe the more complicated shapes would actually work. Okay, got a couple of small, very plain little leaves. Let's have a go. Let's do the single one. So I'm just sticking it down, sharp side down, and I'm gonna just. Oh, actually, I'm gonna try and fit two on here, because if I'm gonna do one, I may as well do them both. Let's have a try. Clearly not going to work with your cardstock. You might have some success with the embossing with the cardstock, but I probably wouldn't try this. Okay, let's have a go. I'm just going to move it slightly over to the side because my head is right here by the camera, and I need to lean over very slightly to put the pressure on. I think the problem is I'm not actually touching everywhere, and that's probably because my desk is not completely flat anymore. It's boards. It's a dining table. and they're boards, oak boards. So just wondering whether putting pressure on one end would make any difference. Let's have another little go with the brayer. Well, that's not that's so sticky now. That didn't work. I'm sorry, that was a bit unsuccessful. Okay. Unfortunately, I've not been successful with this idea at all. But I still think it was worth a try. You've got the print. You've got a bit of a print, so I actually quite like that, the print itself. What would be pretty cool is you could actually use these. Let me find one that I'm probably not in love with. This is probably another really bad idea. I'm going to use this piece of paper that's no good over here, and I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to see if I can ink up a die. Probably not. That has actually given a really, really thin outline. It's almost like a pencil drawing, and I think that would look pretty cool on the side of a page. I mean, I'd probably spend a little bit more time putting the ink on, but that's quite cool, isn't it? Experimenting with dies as stamps. Let's see what else is in here that I probably won't use. Okay, let's grab another piece of paper. Right, I'm going to use this to ink on again. I mean, you could use, you could experiment, maybe put some paint using a brayer and try using them that way. I'm just trying to think of ideas that if you know, because often I see these in charity shops quite often, and if you don't have a machine, it might put you off buying them. But I'm just trying to come up with some possibilities for other uses. And I'm sure there's probably, just moved that. I'm sure there's probably a million people out there who have even better uses for them. That's pretty good. Quite like that. But they do, they look like little pencil drawings because obviously the line on the die is so fine. Well, I wouldn't say that was a complete waste of time. I'll just get some ink off that before I put them away. I really enjoy kind of just having a little go and see what was going to happen. So I hope I've given you some ideas. I am quite disappointed that the rolling pin didn't work with the other shapes, but then we cut that out with the die. So maybe with a little bit of perseverance, or maybe some kind of mat. Maybe if you had some kind of mat over the top and rolled that, you might have a better, more success than I did. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me. I will see you soon. Bye.